Hi everybody, welcome to my video about harmonics and sympathetic vibrations. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out my Facebook page. This video goes along with a series of articles I've been writing on intonation, and right now those articles are just on my Facebook page as pictures, but if you'd like PDFs, please send me a message. I'll be glad to send them your way. If you have any questions or ideas about other topics for me to cover, please leave a comment below or send me a message directly. All right, now let's talk about harmonics. So even though I'm demonstrating this on a bass, these same physical properties apply to any string instrument. So whether it's a bass, cello, viola, violin, guitar, mandolin, banjo, you name it, if it's a string instrument, it has the same physical properties. So I'm going to demonstrate the first 3 octaves of harmonics, and I'm going to use the G string. And so our first harmonic is just open string, it's our fundamental pitch. And now I'm going to divide the string into 2, and that division point is going to be our first octave above our fundamental. We just have 1 division point. Now, if we divide the string into 3 parts, we have 2 division points, so there's going to be a harmonic on each of those. So we have an octave and a 5th above our fundamental. So it'll be our D. And both of the same pitch, both of those harmonics. Now, if we divide the string into 4 parts, we have 3 harmonics, and that's going to be 2 octaves above our fundamental, and that shares a middle harmonic with our octave harmonic. So since the lower harmonic usually, or always takes precedence, so we're going to hear 2 octaves above, octave above, then another 2 octaves above. So now, if we divide the string into 5 parts, we get 2 octaves and a major third above our fundamental. So we have a B. We have that in 4 places. Now, if we divide the string into 6 parts, we get 2 octaves and a 5th. So we're on a D again, and this shares 3 harmonics with harmonics that we've already played. So we have the new harmonic, 2 octaves and a 5th. That shares harmonic with the D an octave and a 5th above our fundamental. And then it shares the octave. So. Now if we divide the string into 7 parts, we get 2 octaves and a flat 7th. So this can be a little bit harder to find, so bear with me if I miss them a few times. So we have our so 2 octaves and a 7th. Now for our last harmonic we're going to talk about is when we divide the string into 8 parts, we get 3 octaves above our fundamental. And this shares a few harmonics that we've already talked about. So we have our 3 octaves, 2 octaves, then 3 octaves again, then our octave, 3 octaves again, then 2 octaves, then 3 octaves. And there you have it. So that's our first 3 octaves of harmonics. If you divide the string into 9, 10, 11 parts, keep on going, we'll get even more harmonics. And whenever we play a note, any note, whether it's an open string or a closed note, that harmonic series is ringing, and that's part of the note that we're playing. So whether it's an open G, all those notes have their own harmonic series, and we're hearing that anytime we're playing a note. So now let's talk about sympathetic vibrations. So if a note in the harmonic series of a note that we're playing lines up with a note in the harmonic series of another open string, we will hear that note speak. And that is true for notes that are in the harmonic series of notes that our colleagues are playing or from their open string. So whether it's a cello, viola, violin, another bass player, we should hear resonance from those instruments. We might not hear that well, but we can hear how they fit in with us. So let's start with just the G string on the E string, or the G on the E string. So we should hear the open G ringing and the octave harmonic of the D string ringing, because the open G is the same note as the G an octave above our low G, and then that D harmonic is the same as the D an octave and a fifth above our low G. So let's hear how both of those sound. So I'll play the low G and then stop all the notes except for that open G string. And it rings quite a bit. You can probably even see that ringing on the video. Now I'll play the G and dampen everything except the D string. And you can hear that one pretty loud too. Not as loud as that open G, but it's still there. So now let's go to the A on the E string. So obvious one is the A is the same note as the open A string, so the A rings pretty good. That rings out quite a bit. But it also gets an A from the D string. So the A an octave and a fifth above the D string lines up with the A 2 octaves, or the A harmonic 2 octaves above A. So also the same as the open A string. So now I'll go to the open A string. So when we play that open A, we should hear that harmonic on the D string. And since I'm in tune, we hear that. Now another one, so now that we're playing the open A, we'll also hear resonance from the E string. And so again, if we're in tune, which I should be, we'll hear the E that's an octave and a fifth above the open A string, which is the same note as the E 2 octaves above the open E string. So we should hear that note. Yeah, we do. Now let's go to the B flat on the A string. So this is in tune. We should hear resonance from the open G string and the D string. And what we'll hear is the D harmonic that's 2 octaves and a major third above the B flat. So that is the same note as the D an octave and a fifth above the G string, and 2 octaves above the open D string. So I think that one's not as strong. There it is. Yeah. And if that's perfectly in tune, it can get pretty loud. So yeah. So now let's go to the B. So now the B on the A string has 2 possible placements, and this kind of gets into where, depending on the tonality, it can be fairly significant difference in placement. So if we place the B so that we have resonance from the G string, it's a fair amount lower than if we're placing it to get resonance from the E string. So let's start with the G string. So that B will get resonance from the B 2 octaves and a major third. So we'll hear that B from the G string. There. And now, if we're tuning to the E, we'll get the B an octave and a fifth above the E string. And there it is. So let's compare these placements a little bit. So we'll start with the E string, then go down to the G. So not an insignificant difference. So you can see if you were playing an E major and you try to play that B like it was in G major, it's going to cause some funky issues. So it's good to be aware of where our pitches needs to be locked in. So now you guys can go experiment with where these resonances are on your instrument. Experiment with finding all these different harmonics, and then every note on our instrument has some kind of resonance, or like some are stronger than others, but play around with what you can get to resonate with every note. And even if you have an extension, open up the extension, close the gates, figure out what those resonance goes, because sometimes we have funky wolf tones and weird resonance that happen, or depending on what our what key we're playing in, or what's going on in the rest of the work. Sometimes it's just helpful to have one of these gates closed, or the extension totally open, and help mitigate weird resonances that can happen. So happy experimenting, and enjoy getting to know your instrument a little bit better. And thank you for watching my video. And again, if you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out the articles on my Facebook page.